Hello and welcome to this new Android development tutorial. This is part 8 of how to create a file manager app for Android. So we will run the app we created previously and we will see what else can we add to this app. So as you can see, we have the reload button, we have the new folder button, and we have the list view of the files and folders that are listed on the current directory. But now we have to add some navigation features, okay? We have to add new navigation features. For example, if we want to go inside one folder, okay? So if we click on this folder, we have to open the contents of this folder. Okay, and we also have to be able to go back to the previous folder. Okay, so how do we do this? Okay, we have to first create a button that will enable us to go back to the parent directory of the current one. So where can we put that button? Okay, we will put it at the left side of the reload button. Okay, later we can improve the UI and all of that, but for now we will just be focused on functionality. Okay, so we go to our Android Studio IDE and we open our layout1.xml file. I will close these other files because we are not really needing them. So I have two files open. One is the main activity.java and the layout1.xml. We will open the layout1.xml file and we will duplicate the refresh button. Okay. And right here we will put the ID. As ID we'll go and say go back maybe, or go back. Okay. And as text it will be the B, uppercase B, that will sign as that this is the back button. Okay, so we go to our main activity.java and we will figure out how can we implement this functionality. Okay, so we go to our is file manager initialized inside the onResume method, and right here after the refresh button we will go and say final button back, go back button, and we will define this as find view by ID r.id that go back, and we go and say, oh, I have to create an extra letter here, so go back button. Now we can say go back button that set onClick listener, new onClick listener, and inside this click listener we will tell it to go back one directory and to update the changes. Okay, so we will change the directory of this, and as you can see, directory dir contains the root path, so we have to make this we should be able to change the content of this, so we have to make it a global variable. So we delete final and file, and we go outside the onResume method and we type private file and dir. Okay, great. So the root path is kind of our main path, but it's pointing to download right now because we find that path to be useful for us. Okay, so if we want to go back, we want to create a new path, and for that we will load the directory with a new path. Okay, so we'll go and say dir. We have first to create a new path, which we'll call here parent dir, and will be root dir, root path, or parent path actually, will be root path that substring, and of course we'll start in 0 and we will end on the last /. How do we do that? Okay, we have to specify and get the last index of a /. Let's see if it works. Okay, we're gonna say root path that last index of, and here we will put a / between single quotes, and now we will go and say dir equals new file parent path, and we will say we have to update, so we're going to say refresh button dot call on click. Okay, now we're going to run the app and see if everything works fine. So it's been compiled and it's been sent to the emulator, and now it's running. And if we press the B, we go back, okay, to the previous one, which is awesome because this is what we wanted. Okay, but now as you can see right here, the title is not being updated, so we have to update the title because we're still showing download, even though we are not anymore on the download folder. So we have to update the title too. So how do we update the title? Okay, we simply go and copy this line just below the path output definition. We will copy this line and we will paste that line right here. Okay, I will do it before the call and click. You can do it after, it doesn't really matter. Now I will run the app again and see if everything is working fine. Okay, so now as default we have the download folder. If I press the B, which means the back button, we go back and it still says download. So what is the problem here? Oh, the problem is maybe that we are not doing this correctly. So here we have and say last index of. Here we can either delete this +1, so I will delete this +1, maybe. No, not really. Okay, let me think. Okay. Here, when we specify the parent path, we have to decrease it by 1. So let's try it and test this if it works. Why? Because when we get the last index, we are not getting the one we want actually. So if we go back and the app crashes, so surprisingly. Okay, let's dry run this a little bit more. So we have our root path, okay? And we are setting the path output. Oh, here's the problem. The problem is, okay. This is a stupid problem actually. So we go back to the original form, so this without -1, and here all we have to do is we have to change root path because we're not using root path anymore, right? So here we have to change in the second line in which we say path output set text, we will change root path with parent path. Okay, we'll go and say parent path, and here we're going to say also parent path, and now we will run the app. So now it should work. So it's compiled and running, and if we go back, it shows 0, which in this case is home actually. Okay, we can change this later. Now we cannot go inside any one of these, so we have to be able to go inside these guys. So how do we do that? Okay, we simply go, and before this button right here we just wrote, we're gonna say list view that set on item click listener and new on item click listener, and inside this we will open the new path. Okay, so we're gonna go create a string new path, and this new path will have to be equal to current path. Okay, so we have to have a current path global variable, right? Okay, so we're gonna go outside this and we will create a global variable that we will call private string current path. Okay, and we will go and set, of course, current path here to root path, because root path now is the current path in that time. And now when we change the path, right, like right here, we can actually change this to current path. So we can delete all of these. Oh, not really. Okay, we will press Shift F6 and we will rename this to current path. Okay, and we will delete the string definition in order to access the global variable. Okay, so now we have the current path. Okay, now new path will be current path plus the selected item. Okay, so as simple as that. We go, and not really, because we can have a lot kind of a better way of doing this, right? Because we can say current path equals files position that get absolute path, and we can just call refresh button that call on click. Okay, as simple as that. Maybe that will just fix everything we need. Okay, we go and say we will run and we will see if this works. Okay, so like if we go back and if we go again inside download, okay, it's not working. It is not working because we are not refreshing this. Okay, we're not refreshing. We are actually refreshing this, but when we call and click, we are not taking account the current path, right? So what we have to do here is the same we did previously actually. So after we initialize current path, we have to reinitialize dir. So dir will be equal to new file current path. Okay. And we have to again set the text like the same we did previously. Okay. Like this. Now we will run the app and hopefully it will work. Okay, running the app right now. Okay, we go back and we go on download again and it works. So we now have simple navigation stuff that we need. Then we can go in pictures, create a new folder. For example, cat pictures. We press an OK. Oh, sorry, create a new folder. Cat pics and OK. And it's not working. Why it's not working? Maybe because the paths are not being updated. Okay, so we're gonna go and find where we are creating the new folder. Okay, like right here. And as you can see, this creates a new folder, and if this is okay, we will make the new folder a new directory. Okay, we create a new folder, make directory. Okay, the problem here is that we are using root path and we should be using current path. So we will go to new folder creation and change here the root path with current path. And now we will test again to see if it works now. We're running the app. We will do the same. We'll go back and we go inside the pictures folder and we will tap on NF, new folder. And again, cat pics, and we will press in OK. And we have our cat pictures. We can go inside that and we can even see the cat pics right here. Okay, which is great. Now, if I go back in the cat pics, it didn't work fine. So we are inside pictures, inside cat pics. If I press back, it goes all the way down to 0, which is not okay. So we have to go and check this. Okay, we have to check the back button, the go back button. And again, here we have to change this root path with current path. And again, root path with current path. Okay, so right now we will run again and see if everything works fine. Okay, let's see. Running, compiling, and now we go back. We go inside pictures, inside cat pics. If we go back, we're inside pictures, with this what should happen, and we go back, we are on our root directory. So here we have, if we go back here, this crashes. Why it crashes? Because if we go before or previously or to the parent of root, then we need root permissions maybe. So we don't want that. So we want to limit the app to the root folder. Okay? For that, we will go, and when we press back, we will check if we are not on the root folder. How do we do that? Okay, we'll go to the back button. And here we will check if current path, okay, if current path that equals, it can be equals root path, we won't do anything and we will just return. And we will check if this works, maybe because it should have exactly the same letters to work, so I would check it now. So we go to download right here, and if I press back, oh, the problem here is that we are setting the root path to download, which is not great. Okay, so we will have to change this a little bit. And actually what we will set here is that I will set current path to the root path content. So we will cut the root path content. I will set current path to the root path content. Okay, and I will define root path. I will delete root path, and everywhere in which root path is shown right here, I will change it with current path, because that is clean code. So far 3 times, I think. Okay, now I will run this. We have another one. Okay. Now we will create the root path, and the root path is kind of the current path and the previous path, you know. So we go and say we will copy this line right here of current path equals substring 0 current path. We will copy that line, and right here after current path we will say final string root path will be equal to this. Of course, we will delete current path equal current path right here, and now we are ready to go. I will run this and everything should work fine. So now I'm running this. If I go back to 0, so this is the root path. If I press B again, nothing happens, and this is what we want actually. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I see you in the next one. Bye.